kids watching, welcome to our...
I pledge allegiance to the flag for which it stands,
Going to happen. Now for you, Victoria. We're going to learn a song about...
Hey y'all, welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jim.
And today we are going to talk to you about the last piece of being prepared in your household. And that last piece is homeschooling your children, which is by far the most important thing that you can do for your family.
We started our official homeschool journey about 3 years ago. We always did like preschool stuff with Wyatt, basically since he was born. And then Raylan fell into that too in the younger years. But when it was actually time for school, we started to officially homeschool. So the first thing we did was get our curriculum, which was Abeka. I was homeschooled as a child for a little bit, and Abeka was what we used. So I wanted to use the same thing because I knew it was a great resource and a great curriculum. So that's what we did. We got set up with that. It was first grade for Wyatt, and we got him set up on that. We chose to go the video route, which was difficult, but it was really good for him. That's what we did for the first year for him. Raylan wasn't, she was still doing preschool stuff.
She was like 3, I think.
Yeah, just unofficial stuff. So we did that for the first year. We did all the books, all the videos, and it went well, but he had a little bit of a rough time with it, mostly because I think he was bored. He's always been smart and ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So I think it just didn't challenge him enough. So last year we actually decided to still use Abeka, and we got Raylan enrolled in kindergarten, but not use the videos. That, I guess for Wyatt, went a little bit better.
Yeah.
He is just not crazy about the videos because he doesn't like to sit down that long, but it was not as structured, I guess is the word.
And I would, if I could add a little bit on Wyatt too, like when you're doing the videos, and if you think about it, just teachers in general, no matter what it is, it's very repetitive, right? So then the kids actually get it. Wyatt's always been like, I need to hear it once and then I'm good to go. So when the teacher is spending 15 minutes making the kids say the same thing over and over and over again, about the third time he's like, can we move on? Yeah. So that was part of it too.
So last year also got a little bit crazy because we started to venture into more of the business side of our stuff and all the things that come with that. Cat on the rocking chair.
Making you all rock.
So it got a little bit more difficult for me to be as hands-on. It takes like many hours to do both kids. Like if it was just one, oh, there's another one.
They know when we're doing videos.
If it was just one kid, it would go a whole lot quicker. But we now had 2 that were officially doing school, and I was having to spend a lot of hours doing one kid and then getting the other kid set up, rushing back to that one because as soon as you're with the other one, that one all of a sudden needs help.
Right.
Y'all know how it goes. They're kids and they want attention. So I would say it was overall a good year. Wyatt did learn a lot, and Raylan learned a lot as well. She is reading now. But going into this year, we needed to change. This year for both kids, we have decided to go back to videos, still with Abeka. We got the full curriculum, all the books, and I think it's going to be better because Wyatt is to the point where he's actually starting to learn new stuff, like multiplication, division, stuff he already knows.
Multiplication.
Yeah, I mean, he already knows that stuff, but it's getting harder and harder. So the videos are more applicable, and he's not as bored sitting there watching the kids learn stuff that he already knows. And Raylan is now moving into stuff that she doesn't know either. So I'd say we did a very good base, and now they're actually at the point where it's getting more serious. They need like actual structure, curriculum, and learning new stuff every single day. So I know that probably sounds unorganized and crazy, but that's where we're at with this year, and I'm happy with it. I know you're probably thinking, well, you chose to homeschool them, but you're talking about being hands-on and hands-off. I know that sounds difficult. If you're not in this situation, it's hard to understand. I am still hands-on. However, this gives me a little bit of time to back away when they don't need me to explain stuff in further detail or hand them stuff, and then I can work on stuff that I need to work on, such as business or Etsy or book or whatever it is that I need to put my time into while I'm still there with them. They're right beside me. We're all together. They're at home, safe. They're not being sent off to a building with people I don't know, being raised by other people. They're still being homeschooled by mommy and daddy. They just have a teacher on a computer that is able to teach them more stuff when I'm not able to.
Yeah, and so I would add just a couple pieces to that, because homeschool isn't just about the parent teaching the child. That's a piece of it, even though I think that's the one piece that people center around. The benefit of homeschooling, in my opinion, is that, and I will, full transparency, I was against homeschool at first. Like when we first got married, I never was homeschooled. I was a public school kid the whole time. I did not have a bad public school experience, which I know is rare. So it took me a minute to get on board with that. But once I did, and I understood all the benefits, and once my mind realized that it's not 2000 or 2001 anymore, it is 2020, and the world does appear to be able
They do.
whatever year it is now. I'm getting older, y'all. I'm starting to do that stuff. But once my mind realized that the world isn't the same as it was when we were kids and we were growing up in school. Things are a lot different. You have that picture of what you think it should be, but it's just not anymore. So once I got to that point, I was like, yes, I'm all in on homeschooling. And some of the more other benefits that you get from that are we can take vacation whenever we want to.
Yes.
Like it's not structured around spring breaks, summer breaks. And then so when we go, the masses aren't there. It's just like the homeschool kids are the ones that are too young to go to school. So that's a huge benefit.
Well, it's kind of our lifestyle too.
Right.
I mean, with the events that we do, with the farming that we do, when babies are born, we don't know, day to day what's going to happen on the farm. So it allows the kids to be with us all the time. We don't have to find them a babysitter or a daycare, or they don't have to stay with grandma and grandpa. When we go to events, they get to come with us. Yep. They're not truant. They're not missing anything. We can take their curriculum. They can still continue to do school, and it allows us to have the lifestyle that we want, because we're just not the kind of people that you can give a school schedule to and we'll be like, okay, got it. This is not who we are. Yeah. We're never going to be that way.
We're structured when it comes to our stuff, but we can never be structured to somebody else's
not under
schedule.
somebody else's hand.
No, it's not even a chance. But that's a benefit. And then like the sleeping in. Our kids don't have to wake up before me to do farm chores and then get on the bus and miss everything. We're able to allow our kids, they obviously have bedtimes and times that they wake up. So the sleeping in, that may seem silly to others, but it's important to us. It's important for us to be all in the same house when everyone wakes up and together. So I usually have chores, Jen and I usually have chores done now before the kids are awake. So I'm in, she's up, the kids are waking up, and they get to be with mommy and daddy. Mm-hmm. I just really like that, and I think it's very important.
It's very important to us to be there when our kids wake up. It's not something that everybody does. Really, probably 99% of people don't do that. Especially on farms and Homestead. Mommies and daddies might be outside when the kids are waking up. They're by themselves, and it's very important to me to be there so that I'm the first thing they see when they wake up, and they're not confused or go off and start something that they shouldn't be doing, like getting on video games, and then they get wrapped up in that for half the day. It's important. So if you're interested in homeschooling, I know there's like thousands of curriculums out there, thousands of websites, all kinds of stuff you can find, free stuff. You don't have to technically pay for any of it. There is free resources. But we chose Abeka. We have for 3 years. And the reasons why are, one, it's biblical based. So that's important to us. That's what we structure our life on. We don't go to church, but we do have home church. And it's very important for our kids to understand the Bible, to know how to read it, to know how to study it, and be aware of, creation and their faith and grow up in that. 2, I really like the structure of it. The teachers are amazing. Yeah. You can do accredited or unaccredited. That's always a choice. But you can buy books separately, or you can buy the whole entire thing. It comes with teacher kits and teacher keys, tests, so that you're periodically figuring out if your kids are retaining the information, if they're learning, or if you need to go back and focus on something. And it just, overall, I think it's wonderful. It's the company is amazing. Anytime that you need anything, they're always there to answer your questions. And we've tried a few other ones, but we always come back to Abeka because it's just all in for me. They have everything that you need.
Yeah. So we know a lot of you all are in several different journeys when it may come to homeschooling. You're either already doing it, currently like we are.
Or did it.
You've had kids that you've raised, homeschooled, graduated, and they are now grown adults. You have the ones that are thinking about it, but their kids are still enrolled in school. And the ones that think that we're crazy and all homeschoolers are crazy and they're just fully invested into the public school or private schools, whatever it is. So this video is to try to talk to all of you all. The ones that are already doing homeschool, to encourage you to keep doing it, because you should. The ones that did it, awesome. Y'all are our heroes. That's what we want to be in a few, in several years once we get our kids through. But we really want to center in on the ones that are thinking about it or the ones that haven't even considered it. Because right now, I hinted on it, the world is a lot different than it was when we were children. You all know it. You can't say that it's not. And to me, school is becoming more and more of an unsafe environment for our children than ever before. I don't think it has to really be said too much because it's all over your news all year. There's not much that's being done about it. And I know us, when we finally pulled the trigger, because we did let Wyatt go to kindergarten for just a tad, he was in there. And then there was a lockdown at the school. Thankfully, it was nothing serious. It was a neighboring subdivision, but because of the situation, they locked down the kids. Wyatt was trapped in a bathroom with his students and teacher huddled down, preparing that there might be a shooter on site. We were not notified. We had no idea until she picked up Wyatt. That next day, we pulled our kids from school. This is not the life we want to live. We don't want to have to worry about someone else having to take care of our children that God blessed us with, that we decided to have. It is our responsibility to take care and raise these children. Now, we know that you're probably thinking, well, it must be nice, y'all have the money to be able to do this or whatever. That wasn't the case. When we pulled Wyatt out, what was I making, like 11 bucks an hour?
Yeah, maybe.
11 bucks an hour. She was a stay-at-home mom, and that was it.
And we couldn't afford it, Becca, but we made it work because I knew it was the best option at the time.
And that's when you can start with some of these other free or cheaper ones that get yourself into it, get your feet wet, and get yourself going if you don't have the means to make it happen. But I promise you, there is a whole homeschool community. If you... Chickens everywhere, man. Chickens everywhere.
Where's she over there?
She's over here behind us. Trying to have a serious talk here. Anyways, there are so many options for you to be able to afford and do homeschool. If 2020 gave you any instinct to it, you know that you can be at home, right? We were all forced to be. We all figured out how to make it work. And so what we're telling you is, if you pull that trigger and you don't think you have the funds or the means to be able to do this, you can, because you will figure it out. And all you need to do is just make that decision that you want your children home with you. So that hopefully gives you a little bit more motivation to know that it can be a reality for you. You can do this. It is A-okay, and there is help for you everywhere. You can Google your communities in your area. It's very easy. You can just say like homeschool groups, homeschool communities in X town, X zip code, and it'll probably pop up some different areas with a group of people that are already doing this in your area.
So if you've never looked into homeschool, you probably don't know any of the laws, the requirements, and you're thinking, I don't even know if I'm able to, if I'm allowed. Is the county school board going to come after me? Is my state going to get upset? So the best way that you can find that out is by Googling the homeschool laws for your state. Every single state is different. Some of them have similar laws, but each state is different. In Kentucky and Tennessee, in this area, it's very easy. You just have to notify the school board 2 weeks before school is going to start. You have to keep attendance just so you can say, hey, they showed up to school this day and this day. And every state has different laws for how many number of days. And then keep their best work in filing cabinets or some kind of organization. So that if they come and ask, you can say, yeah, here's some of their stuff. This is what they've done. But that rarely ever happens.
You're going to keep the work
like
anyway.
Insurance.
It's your children, right?
Yeah.
You're going to keep some of their awesome work anyways.
It's free insurance for yourself to cover your own back.
Right.
But if you're in another state besides Kentucky and Tennessee, definitely look it up. And most states are lenient and you can get around some of it. I'm sure you are aware if your state is strict, because they're most likely strict in most other stuff. But if you're, already on the journey of homesteading and becoming self-sustainable, then it's probably very attainable for you to do.
So we want to do this video because a lot of schools started back up this week. Your social media is flooded with first day of school pictures, I'm sure, like ours is. And it's beautiful, it's great, and ultimately there's not much wrong with school, right? There's not much wrong with public school. But there is a teacher shortage. There is security issues. There is the worry are my children actually getting a good education in this school? On top of, if you are homesteading and farming, the food they're getting provided. Like, that is the most preserved food we probably will ever see in our life. We all remember the bagged pizzas, right? You're homesteading, farming, trying to be sustainable, trying to make sure that you're prepared, then everything about school is against that. Like, it is completely against everything that your core values are. And so that's why we want to drive to say, hey, you got to do this. We wanted to share our story of how we pulled Wyatt out of school. You can pull your children out of school. Like, it doesn't have to be, I have to make this decision in the summer. If God moves you right now, on like the second or third day of school to say, you know what, I'm doing it. You can. You can go do it right now. You can go with, well, check your state laws. But in Kentucky, you can go with your letter of intent right now, and he or she does not have to go back. And you can start your homeschool journey right now. I promise you, you're not going to mess up your kids.
No. It's a beautiful journey. It's, you know, it can be frustrating at times. The veterans will tell you that, the ones who have already done this. But every day is a new journey, and it's very awesome to be with your kids. My opinion has always been that kids should be home with their family and families should be together. My mind's never going to change on that, and that's just where we're at. And I know a lot of you feel that same tug in your heart. So if you're on the line, just do it. You're almost there. Push yourself to get it done. You'll love it. You won't regret it. You know, it'll be the best thing you ever did for your kids.
I agree. And the last aspect of all this that is the number one thing that non-homeschool parents say, what about the social aspect, right? What about that social aspect? I'm here to tell you that homeschool kids are going to be more socially capable than a public school kid. Cat! We have the GoPro hooked to a rocking chair, and then the cats come to hit the rocker, and it makes you all go up and down. So we apologize. So, the social impact to your children. Watch when you're out in public. I guarantee you, from what we see, you can pick out a homeschool kid versus a non-homeschool kid. And it's about how they're able to talk to parents. If they're able to talk to parents well, I guarantee you most likely they're a homeschool kid. So what I mean by that is, homeschool kids are around adults a lot more. They're also around kids quite a bit. So there is the day-to-day where we're here, but we have the freedom to go and see and go and do and go and be with in different areas. So our kids are getting to see a diversity of people, not just their classroom students, right? So I always hear that session like, well, what do they have, 15 kids that they're hanging out with all day and it's the same 15?
I'm not even sure where that comes from. I don't think people think about it before they say it, because public school in itself is the opposite of socialization.
Right.
You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to go to the bathroom when you want. You can't go get a drink of water. You have to do exactly what they say. And the only time that you might socialize might be on the playground if it's not raining. And that's for what, 8 minutes?
8 minutes? Something ridiculous.
It's not. There is no socialization.
If anything, they're just creating 100% rule followers, right? To never think for themselves, to only follow what a older adult is telling them, period. Like, don't question it, just do. And so, in our opinion, homeschool kids are actually more socially capable than public or private school kids. And so get that out of your mind. I promise you're going to see, because you're going to have the freedom to be doing things, and you're going to see a complete change in your children's communication. It's going to be better towards you. It's going to be better towards other adults and other kids, because they get to meet so many people throughout the weeks. If you're homeschooling, throw down some curriculums down below that's outside of Abeka that maybe you all have tried and true. Help us out, veterans. Help some of these new guys out to be able to look at some of the options that are out there that maybe broaden their spectrum, right? So they can actually start doing that Google search. For you all that are curious, if you have questions, put them down in the comments. There is a huge community that is just watching our channel. We know because they reach out to us, we talk to them often, and it's great to have this group of support and a bunch of moms and dads that are like, hey, we're right here with you. We want you to succeed and we want you to homeschool, and then your mind will be blown once you finally say yes. So anything you have, put it down there, and we hope that this video has been a little helpful for you.
After this video of just the initial us encouraging you, we will have a video showing you our organization, how we do school throughout the day, where we put all our stuff, what books they have, etc., and just to help give you an idea if a lot of you are feeling the push. And that way you can not just hear us say homeschool, but you can actually see the logistics of it.
It's not as bad as you think it is. Once you get it set up, it flows pretty smooth. But y'all, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button for us.
Is that usually what you say?
Yeah.
If you're new here, hit the subscribe button.
We love you.
We love you.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Next one.
Bye.